November 9, 2021, the Madison Lions Club hosted Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch as our guest speaker.
Our law enforcement does a tremendous job. They're out there 24/7 taking care of us, protecting us, running into danger when we're going the other way. And I'm so appreciative of our law enforcement, as is everyone in our state. We live in a state where we recognize the great gift that they give to all of us for jumping into danger. They are taken away from their families, and they do that to protect all of us. And the same with our military. We're very blessed with a tremendous military presence in our state. And so for any of you here that have served in the military or are currently serving, thank you for your service as well. That's one of the things that makes our state so special. We are very uplifting, very empowering to one another, and that truly is the type of state, the tapestry of who we are and our character of our state. Because we do believe in our law enforcement, and we believe in our military, and we should show them every time we get a chance to. Partnerships. Judicial. We've had a tremendous partnership in the last 2 years to really come in, because again, let me set the stage for you. Your Attorney General's office is comprised of around 300 people. We've got about 140 lawyers, about 70 investigators, and then tremendous administrative staff that keeps us all going. That's a lot of people doing a lot of work. When we got there, we wanted to listen and see what are the areas that we needed to address. How could we be more empowering in different areas? What could we do with partnerships? So in everything I'm going to discuss with you, it's all about partnerships. The public, the private, how we all work together to make a difference. Because the reality is, if we don't work together, nothing changes. Silos don't work, but when we work with one another, we get tremendous results. So in the office, we really looked our hand over and said, what are the areas that we need to improve? Where should we be embracing? What are the things that have the gaps? We created new divisions. And not only are we trying cases in and out of in front of our judges, we're certainly writing briefs, we're protecting your rights, but we do a lot of other things besides being in the courtroom. We've got a whole division that works on victims' rights, victims' advocacy, because that's so important. Because as they are in the courtroom, we also know there are victims that go along. How do we help them? How do we uplift those victims? How do we protect them? Consumer protection. Very engaged, every one of us. Probably have something that's been involved that you can think of that has affected you that involves consumer protection. Again, we're really involved in it because, again, those are your issues. Those are things that involve you daily, and how can we be better protecting your rights along those lines? We've got criminal divisions. We've got civil divisions. We answer all the calls. We represent all state agencies across the board. We write opinions, policy. Again, that affects all of our local municipalities, counties, because we're writing those AG opinions that give guidance on different issues that come up. So we really have embraced that on so many different arenas, because again, that's important to everyone in this room. I tell people all the time, the AG's office affects you somehow, some way. You may not even realize to what degree or how it has affected you or your family or someone that you know, but it does. And that's our job, is to be protective of your rights, make sure that we are out there doing our job on every level. And as I said, I have about 70 investigators. So law enforcement out there, whether they're doing the public integrity investigations, whether they're doing consumer protection investigations, we work hand in hand with our federal, our local, other partners in law enforcement, again, because that is so key to all that we do. But I want to give you some of the high-level things that are happening. I've just come from a moot where we are taking a Solicitor General that works in the AG's office. So let me give you the information about a Solicitor General. Our state never had a Solicitor General. And this is the key appellate person that you want to be engaged in writing your briefs, overseeing moots as we help other lawyers go through the process of providing their best presentation to every court that we send them in. Engaging in peer review on our briefs, because You know, when I get my brief to Judge Ratcliffe, I want it to be top notch. I want it to be good. I want my attorneys to be, you know, first class going in. That means we do a lot of work on the other side. But our Solicitor General, I appointed the first Solicitor General we'd ever had, Christy Johnson, and she was amazing. And then the President scooped down and put her on the federal bench. She's the first federal female judge in the Southern District of Mississippi. So now it's quite the honor to go back and I have attorneys that are presenting in front of her. And then I hired another Solicitor General, a young man named Scott Stewart. And he came on board. He's got an incredible resume. And he had clerked for Justice Thomas on the Supreme Court. He's also been in the Department of Justice, and he had about 300 lawyers that worked underneath him. So he's come on board with us, and he really had never even been to Mississippi, and I just heard him tell the group, he loves Mississippi. He said, people are so nice and so kind and so hospitable here, and he'd never even driven down here. He did ask me, he said, do you think I need a car? I said, absolutely. So we just were putting him through a moot before I left. But the significance of what we're doing in that Solicitor General's office is we're changing the complexity. We're changing how we argue. We're changing how our briefs are prepared. But on this particular case that we were doing the moot for him, really taking pot shots at him, really hard questions, just like the United States Supreme Court justices are going to ask him on December the 1st. On December the 1st, we will argue the Dobbs case, the Mississippi case on abortion, and we are asking the court to overturn Roe v. Wade. It's a very significant case. It's a rule of law case. The rule of law is that you and I should decide what rules and what laws are applicable in our state. So right now we have unelected judiciary telling us how we're going to operate in our states. And they've been doing that for 50 years. And it's a very tangled web. They have different rules. They don't apply the rule of law. It just happens to be these judges, and they choose to apply it how they see fit. So we're standing there, and we're going to ask them, return it to the states. These are our cases. These are our laws, and we should be able to make those. Because you have the right. You elect people to represent you. You elect your governors. They're the policy-making decision makers, and you're instructing them. And if you don't like it, you hold them accountable, right? That's how it should be. And this case is one of tremendous magnitude. It will affect our state. It will also affect our country. So we feel like at some point they're going to take some action. To tell you the truth, it's 50 years. A lot has happened in 50 years. The workplace is different. Women are different. Men are different. Science is certainly different. And it's time to return it to each individual state. So December the 1st, we will make that argument. We've been very methodically working on this since we got the call, or the case got called up in May. It probably will not be the opinion released probably till late June of next year. Because normally the United States Supreme Court will issue those opinions late June, right before they go out on their term, if they're particularly volatile. This case is the highest profile case that we have probably seen in 50 years. But know that your Attorney General's office was prepared. We have great partners. We've worked through this on the case. We are thrilled to represent the state of Mississippi, and we take every move that we've done very diligently with respect for our state and respect for the rule of law. So I hope you will join me. I will actually have putting out on social media. You can listen to the case. It'll be at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 o'clock here, and we'll have it only on audio. They don't let you into the court. So I get to go in with my Solicitor General, and we have a few press that they'll let in, and that's it. But I suspect, from what we can understand, there will be a record number of people outside when we come out. So hope you will have the opportunity to listen and know that we are representing our state with honor and dedication. And our role is to protect the sanctity of life, protect women, and uphold the integrity of the medical profession. So anyway, that's the big case right now in that arena going on. But in your consumer protection cases, we, again, are looking at so many different areas. What's important to you? What's affecting our different actions across our state? And let me tell you, in partnerships, I work with my peers. You will probably read a number of times where I will file a lawsuit, and I do with other states. Again, that's a strength factor. If you see us all filing, that's a strength factor. We want those courts to see that we're doing this in unity. You will see us across the country coming together, rallying together, making sure we're hitting all the right circuits, because that's important. So my consumer protection case, that's the highest profile, is on insulin. You probably all know someone or have diabetes in your family, or you know a friend. It's highly likely we're going to get some movement in this case, as we should. Insulin, there 13% of the population of Mississippians have diabetes. Insulin is 1,000 times more costly now than it was 15 years ago to make. So how can we allow all of us, all of our loved ones, to pay astronomical charges for their vials of insulin when they're about $25 to make, and it costs diabetics $300? So I'm going to rise with my team, and we're going to fight this. Because with the diabetes, if you don't get the insulin, you know what happens? These people use expired insulin, or they don't give the insulin to themselves, or they ration it, and that just creates more medical problems. So we're going to stand strong on that, and we're going to protect. We're going to stand up and fight these big corporations. Now, you know, most of you know me very well. I'm very pro-business, but if you're doing things that hurt my folks in my state, in your corporation, you have to behave professionally, and you have to do the right things when it affects the people here in the state of Mississippi. So we'll be moving along those lines too. And look, I'm a big believer in free speech is free for everyone, right? You'll see me time and time again going after the tech companies. I've already filed 2 suits against Google and have one right now on Facebook, because those are our rights. You get to say what you want to. You should not have these big tech corporations manipulating what they think you should do and what they think you should say.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen. And I will continue to really work hard on that. It is unfair to think that these corporations can leverage us in every way, form, or fashion that they can. And they're doing it. And again, that's just board of directors of companies. They have now taken that digital square and decided what you and I can say and do. So we'll continue to fight that fight. We've been doing it. And again, you'll see many of us rally together as AGs with one another. We're fighting the opioid crisis. I tell people all the time, you know, that's happening here. It's happening across our country. And we all have to stand up for that. We have to be engaged in that regard. And we do that with one another. I'm trying to get a big opioid case settled right now for the state of Mississippi. Why? Because it affects every one of us. We have to have some solutions. We've got to reach out. We've got to help people. We've got to help their families. And to do that means we really have to drive hard and know that we're doing that in the office. We're working toward that solution. And then the vaccination mandates. Wow. I wanted to get the new numbers for you all right before I left, just to give you the significance of what's happening. You know, there are a lot of moving parts in this vaccination. And let me just say on the overall, there's been a tremendous overreaching into our rights, into our lives. And as the AGs and my peers, we've sued this administration 34 times already. We've sent them letters from us 21 times as a preemptive strike. we're going to come back. We're going to stand up for our people. We're going to stand up for everybody's rights. So know that we're not idly sitting by. So just an update on the vaccination. It's like a target. We're very busy trying to keep up with all the mandates. But just so that you know the numbers. So we filed on the OSHA last week on that mandate requirement. Well, the Fifth Circuit agreed with us. That was a great win Friday night. It's exciting. That's our Fifth Circuit. And they did that. And so we will continue to move to continue to have that halted all the way through. But that's the one that's 100 employees or more. But you know how many people that affects across our country? 84 million people. 84 million people. We've also filed on the federal contractor mandate. Again, I filed with my peers. It's in the federal district court. We're waiting. We asked for a halt. We're going to file for a preliminary injunction as well. But that is 1/5 of the American workforce. Now think about that. That's significant. Wow. And the last one we're going to be filing this week is on the medical mandate. And that one is 21 million individuals that are part of our workforce that will be affected. So we have to stand up and protect everyone's rights. Those are big numbers. Those are people that we know, businesses, that is hurting our economy. So know that we have our eye on the ball, and we will continue to very diligently move forward with this. But it was a big win to get the Fifth Circuit decision late Friday night. I want to share a couple of other things with you that are extremely important in our state. And I'm going to bring this up. It's a hard subject to talk about. And when I do, a lot of people go, that's not happening. But it is. Human trafficking. Human trafficking. Now I go around the state and I talk to people, and most people go, no, no, no. I'm telling you, we could pick any direction in this state, and it's happening. It's so sad. It's horrific. You know, globally, it's a $150 billion a year industry. 40 million people across our globe are in some type of human trafficking, slavery situation. So it's in our country. It's in our state. It's right here. And I can tell you, working with some of these survivors, they don't want to be there. It's our job to help them get out, bring them out without any shame or blame. You know, because most of them are young girls. We do have some young men that we see occasionally. But they want help. And how can we all help? What can we do? Because every one of those young women, they're somebody's daughter, somebody's friend, somebody's granddaughter. And to see them and to know that every one of us can play a role is important. And it just means you got to step up. You got to be ready to call into the hotline. If you see anything, you let your local, you call the 800 hotline that's the national hotline. We've got a statewide initiative that we kicked off. We've rescued hundreds of girls in our state. And here's the important part to know. It's not human trafficking like a bunch of 18-wheelers coming across from a foreign country. 50% of these young women are trafficked by family members. How sad is that? The people that they love and trust, they traffic them for drugs and quick money. I'm working with a particular young survivor right now, and her mother is her trafficker. She's got a lot of challenges ahead of her. But we can all work together because there are so many pieces and parts of that. That's what I said, you have to step up first and foremost and understand that we do have a problem. But our goal is to say, you know what, we're so strong in this, we're not allowing human trafficking. Don't come to our state, go somewhere else, because we're all going to be a part of the solution. And so as we move forward, we have an initiative. It's called, Be Prepared, Be Aware, and Be the Solution. And this particular partnership that we're working on, and again, it's for everybody. We're putting it out in the convenience stores, in the gas stations, numbers out there on the mirrors, in the men and the women. Look for the signs. If you see someone taking a young girl by the arm and she can't look at you, and you wonder why she's not engaging, or if they looked unkept. If you see anything, it is well worth making the call. You could save a life. We've got billboards out, we've got PSAs. We're really working very diligently to stop this. And in June, we kicked out this partnership with the Department of Public Safety. And we had a number of other partners, the Trucking Association, we had KLLM. They've wrapped 10 of their big trucks out there going across the country with the 800 number to call. We had the beer wholesalers. We had a number of different folks come together. Because you know what? They see it. They are our best eyes and ears. Our truckers are helping us so much. They're giving us so many tips that we're able to follow up on. And we're very grateful for that. And then, here's something you probably won't think about either. I mean, not only are we working training, too, for the truckers, we're working with the Department of Education. And you think, wow, we're training the school bus drivers. Because it's the last safe haven. They see these children getting on and off the bus. They know what's going on. And they've been an incredible resource to help us figure out who these children are. Go in with protection. Get them out of that scenario. Now, once you do that, there's a lot that comes with it. These children are emotionally damaged. We don't have many places. We've got a few. And they're great partners, too. The Tower out in Brandon. We're about to open up a new home here, well, this week. And it's geared for young children. You know, you think about your 12-year-old, 14-year-old. So, you've got to have the counselors. You've got to help them. Because we don't want these individuals to go back. And all these rescues that we've been doing, and like I said, there have been hundreds that we've been able to rescue, we lose some of them because they're brainwashed. They don't know any different. And it's incredible because their family loves them, but sometimes we just can't keep them hitched. And they go back. We're working some serious operations across our state right now. And I can tell you, I've been on the ground with law enforcement, my team. We're doing some major rescues. We're taking down some bad actors. Because with those young people come the bad actors, come the drugs, weapons, and all that's combined. Because here's the other thing you don't think about. So for these young children, young women in their teens, they pretty much have to engage in a lot of drugs as well, just to get through the horrific actions that they have to do, just to survive. So, I need you all. I need you to be looking, paying attention. If you see anything, we've got a lot of information on the website. Calls, let us know. We are happy to follow up any leads. Hey, and if it doesn't work out, you know, that's all right. But you could be saving a life. And in this awareness campaign, I put out a video on Twitter. We did a big campaign called End It. Because again, that's what we want. Our message in Mississippi is end it. We want you out of here. No trafficking allowed here. And we did big red X's on our hand. That was the campaign. Very professionally done. Just showed the X's and just said, you know, we're not going to allow it in Mississippi. We're going to end it. But it was a national campaign that we did. Got a lot of conversation about it. You know, you've got to get your audience whenever you can to talk about human trafficking. So I went into Walgreens one night. So I get in line and, you know, they have this thing called Seniors Day. I'm really not a senior, but you get 20% off everything. I had loaded up my 20%. My buggy was pretty high. And I got in and the little girl started taking my stuff out and she was very kind. And I said, did you get my 20%? She said, I'm new. I didn't know. I said, this is a lot of money. And I'm an old treasurer, so we're going to restart this process. A lot of money on the table. And at that point, I had one person behind me. So we take it out, we start all over. Now I've got 2 or 3 people behind me. So I thought, I need to leverage this conversation. What am I going to do? So I said, hey, I know y'all are probably not seniors either, but if you happen to fall in that category, you too can get 20% off. So I made at least half of them happy because they knew they were about to get some dollars. And now they're beginning to think, okay, what is going on with this woman? She's now talked to us about senior discount, and then what's on her hand? Has she been to a club? What is the deal? So, perfect opportunity to talk to 10 people behind me about human trafficking. None of them really knew. And it was a tremendous opportunity to say, I need you all too to participate. So I had a lot of information I was able to share with them. But to tell you how the technology works, we put that up that day. Twitter, it's about 1 minute and 23 seconds long. It's now back up. Twitter took me down in 37 seconds on that video. How cavalier, right? And if you think you can just take the Attorney General down that quickly, they did. And I thought, well, good thing I have a lot of lawyers. And we fought it. But it took 2 weeks to get it put up. And their comment was, it's sensitive, graphic information. You didn't watch the whole video. It was all about how can we end this horrific human trafficking. So it's back up if you get a chance to go and look at it on social media. So my point is, anytime you get a chance, share with your family, share with your friends, human trafficking, because it's definitely out there. Here's another subject I want to visit with you a little bit about. In our state, we are certainly moving forward. Our state has been open for business. Our economy's good. We're working so diligently. We are doing great things together. We have a lot happening in our colleges and universities, our community colleges. But there's one piece that's never come to fruition in our state. Equal pay. We don't have equal pay in our state. Equal pay for equal work. So that signifies to the women across our state, our young women that are in college, maybe you're not as important. Because the brain drain, they're leaving us. We need to stand up and say, equal pay for women in our state. We're the only state in the country that doesn't have an equal pay law. Only state. Up until a few years ago, the only other state was Alabama. And I really wanted to beat them as that. But we didn't. We didn't. And they passed their equal pay bill without a single dissenting vote. I've spoken with the governor there. She and I even wrote an op-ed together about the significance for the economy, what it says to all of us for equal pay. Now, our state's been a little slow to come around, unfortunately, when it comes to women's issues. In 1984, our legislature finally, 60 years later, ratified the 19th Amendment, the right for women to vote. It's alarming. So, I need your help here too. So if you talk to any of your legislators or anyone, please say how important this is. It's a strong message for us to say to our workforce, to our young people. We all know it. Mississippi's great. We don't want them to leave. We want them to stay right here with us.
Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to know more about the Madison Lions Club, go to lionsclubofmadison.org.